Hey guys, I'm Sean. I created FitStudent.co.uk and today we're going to be talking about stretching out to aid your lifts and improve your posture. So let's just have a little bit of a think to start off. How many times do you wander around the gym and you're doing your thing, but you see other people in there doing exercises with really bad form, like, half reps, just looking a bit shaky, doing squats and deadlifts and the backs rounding at certain points. It's generally quite a lot. And now also have a think of how often do you see people stretching out after the workouts? It's probably not very much, or even before the workouts. Again, it's probably not that much, and that's not a coincidence. There's a reason, there's a sort of connection between those two. If you don't stretch out, and you don't stretch out before or after, then you go and try and work out, you're going to be really inflexible and you're not going to be able to do the lifts properly in the way that you'd like to do them and that's safe to do them. And that's all down to being flexible and having that mobility. So what you really need to do, if you're not doing it already, or maybe you just need to do it better, is improve your flexibility. Start stretching out to really aid those lifts, because if you can get full range of motion, you're going to get, say you're trying to work on hypertrophy, so that's building muscle. If you can get a longer range of motion, then you're going to get more time under tension on each rep, which means more muscle tears in the muscle fibers and more chance of rebuilding, which is what you want. But again, with strength, if you get more range of motion, then you will get more motor recruitment on the way back up, and it's better to train it that way rather than just seeing people do bench press or overhead press or squats where they've got like they go all the way up to the top and then they just sort of go like this and do little things rather than getting all the way down and then all the way back up, because that's the way you really want to do it. So yeah, the easiest place to see inflexibility and issues that might need to be worked on in terms of flexibility is in a squat. It's easy to see in the squat. You've probably seen it yourself, or you're aware that you do it yourself. You try and do a squat, and as you get lower, you have to stop because your lower back starts rounding out at the bottom, or your knees start turning inwards, or even better if you do an overhead squat. So just hold a light bar over your head and then do your squat. And if you can't keep your arms in the same position, and like you go forward and start leaning forward or bringing your arms forward, that's a sign that you've probably got tight lats and things. So have a go at that. Look at your squat, overhead squat, get a friend to watch it or get them to take a video of you doing it so you can look at it yourself and think to yourself, that doesn't really look that good, and that's a bit off, and that's not really that good. And then you'll know for sure and for yourself, because you've looked at it, what needs to change, and then you'll be more likely to want to make those changes and be committed to it because you've seen how awful your squat looks. So one of the things, well, a few of the things to look out for, your lower back, say this is your head and then this is as you squat, and this is say your bum. As you squat down, sometimes your lower back will start to round out as you get to the bottom, and that's generally due to tightnesses and weaknesses and things. The two most common places you're going to see tightnesses and weaknesses are in a person's posture. So the two most common posture problems in terms of tightnesses and weaknesses in different areas are when people have a kind of hunchback appearance and when they have what I call a duck butt, which is when your bum sticks out that way and your stomach kind of sticks forward this way and you just walk like a little bit of a duck. So what happens with those is when you look at your tightnesses in terms of the hunchback thing, you tend to have really tight pecs, anterior delts and lats, along with weak rhomboids, posterior delts, middle and lower traps, and a combination of those things is what makes people, as opposed to having this, upright chest out position, start gradually getting tighter and tighter and weaker in the back, and eventually ending up really hunched over and shorter essentially. So obviously to work those out, stretch out the tight places and strengthen the weak places, so that'll be a lot of pulling movements and a lot of stretching for the chest. The other one, the duck butt, the kind of problems you tend to have are you have really tight lower back, quads and hip flexors, along with weak hamstrings, glutes and abs. So again, to sort of fix that posture issue, you'd want to stretch out those tight areas, so that'd be the quads, the hip flexors and the lower back, and strengthen those weak areas, so that'd be your hamstrings, your glutes and your abs. So yeah, to sort all those out, you need to start stretching, and obviously stretch the areas that are going to be tight and strengthen the areas that are going to be weak from all the things I just mentioned. But in terms of stretching, it's best to do it both post-workout and pre-workout. So obviously pre-workout is before you start the workout. You have your workout and then you have your post-workout stretches. So in your pre-workout stretches on this side, a lot of people think, okay, it's time to stretch out, just do a little bit of this. Yeah, okay, that's cool. That's not the best way to do it pre-workout. Pre-workout, you want to do dynamic and ballistic stretches. So as opposed to static stretches, which is the kind where you just hold it like that. So in your dynamic and ballistic stretches, those are the ones that involve movement. So that's things like arm swings, leg swings, squats, bodyweight squats. Basically any kind of stretch that involves flinging your limbs about. As you do that, you're really going to give your muscles a chance to stretch. So say you do a bodyweight squat and throw your arms back as you come up. Then as you throw your arm back, you're really going to stretch out your chest there. So that's really good for stretching out chest, which a lot of people have tight chests. So that's all your dynamic stretches. Ballistic stretches essentially are mostly generally like static stretches, but you just bounce into them. So say you're doing a hamstring stretch and you have to, the one where you have to lean down towards the floor and feel it in the back of your leg. Mine's awful, mine are really tight, so I can probably get to like halfway down my shins, maybe a little bit further, and then I can't go any further. So then what you do with the ballistic stretch is, instead of just getting down there and holding it, which you do at the end of the workout, instead of just getting down there and holding it, then you sort of bounce into it, and then each time you bounce you can get a little bit further, but make sure when you do it, go easy the first couple of times, because otherwise you might stretch too far and pull the muscle. But really, if you get used to it and just start slow, make sure you can get into it well, and obviously make sure your muscles are nice and warm. So say you've come into the gym from the cold outside, maybe just do a little bit on the treadmill or the rower or the bike, just to get your muscles warmed up again, because then it's less likely that they'll pull when you're doing your ballistic stretches. So ballistic stretches is bouncing movements, dynamic stretches is general movements, and they're what you're supposed to do pre-workout. And then you got your post-workout stretches. So post-workout, once we finish the workout, just to sort of cool down, that's when you want to do your static stretches and not before. If you do static stretches before the workout, you can actually reduce the strength output of those muscles during the workout, which kind of defies the point of doing the workout, So make sure you do your static stretches, so all these holds for 15-20 seconds and then switch arms and what have you. Make sure you do those post-workout to cool down. And another bonus of doing them post-workout is they actually help to reduce DOMS, which is the delayed onset of muscle soreness, which is the pain you feel the day, 2 days, 3 days after working out, when you're really tight and things. No one really knows why that is. It just is. So do it post-workout, get less DOMS, be able to do more with your day without feeling restricted by DOMS. So like, some of us love the feeling of DOMS, some of us hate them, but either way it's useful not to have them so severely. So static stretches post-workout, reduce DOMS, get on with it. Okay, next thing, foam rolling. Foam rolling, I've mentioned it before in one of our previous articles, but it's not been on a video yet. But honest to God, foam rolling is immense. It's just the best feeling ever. It's like a self massage. You basically lie down on a little tube and just roll over it, roll all your different muscle groups over it. And what that does is it kind of breaks up the fascias that have become tight in those muscles. So it's essentially like a self-massage. So as a masseuse would normally like dig in and break things up like that, you just do it yourself on a foam roller. And it is painful, I'm not going to lie, it is painful at the start when you first start doing it, because you will be tight in certain areas. Sometimes you'll be very tight and it'll be very painful. You tend to get little hot spots where you roll and then it's like, oh yeah, it's not too bad, oh my, and then your head nearly explodes. But if you just go through it, you'll be okay. Go through it, after the initial discomfort dies down a little bit, you'll get out of it and you'll just feel a lot looser and a lot freer, and it just makes you feel generally more relaxed once you've finished. Like with a massage, sometimes it feels a bit painful during the massage, but once it's done you just feel a lot better and a lot more relaxed. And in the same sense of feeling relaxed, if you start doing it every day before bed, oh by the way, the best time to do foam rolling is before a workout. So with your dynamic stretches, so maybe get in a little bit early to the gym, do a little bit of foam rolling on the muscles you're going to be using that day, do your dynamic stretches, then get into your workout, then do your static stretches. Another good time to do foam rolling is just before you go to bed, maybe like say half an hour before you go to bed, and just go over anything that's kind of feeling tight. And again, might feel a little bit uncomfortable as you do it, but once you're done you'll feel a lot more relaxed. And if you do it every day before bed, then it'll just become part of your pre-bed routine. And once you do it, then your body will recognize that it's almost time for bed and you'll start feeling tired. So if you have a problem getting to sleep, then it'll even help with that. You can get them pretty cheap, foam rollers. I've got my one here from My Protein. I think it was about £15. Get on it, go onto our online deals page, and there's usually a free delivery code. I'll put a link to the online deals page in the description. Yeah, so get a foam roller, start foam rolling, start stretching, and then make sure you do those things every day, even on like rest days when you're not working out, because it'll just help with the sort of rehab side of things. Because everybody has tightnesses and weaknesses and things like that, and if you really work on those things, then you'll see a bigger increase, well, a more rapid increase in your lifts and how you can lift as well, and also in your just general posture. Because as we said before, if you have say tight chest and tight anterior delts and things like that, then you'll be all hunched over and things, and nobody wants that, you know. And same if you've got say weak abs and really weak glutes and tight hip flexors, then you're gonna have that kind of duck butt look where your bum sticks out. And again, I doubt you want that to be happening, because that also causes a lot of lower back pain, and you might not even realize it, but those postural issues cause problems everywhere else in terms of pain as well. Like you can have pain in your knees or your arms or your shoulders just because you've got poor posture somewhere else along the chain. So sorting out your posture, you'll probably see like a reduced sort of feeling of pain in those areas. You might not even realise until say like a couple of weeks later when you think, oh, my back hasn't hurt for a while, and then now you'll know why. So sort out your posture as well. Yeah, so it's just general maintenance, improving your posture, reducing lower back pain, improving your lifts, and just make sure you keep doing it. And also, as you stretch out, try and make sure you stay equally flexible on both sides of your body. So you don't want to be more flexible on the left than the right, because then you might end up sort of slouched one way or the other. And don't be afraid to just take a step back every so often, you know, maybe take a deload week, maybe once every 4 or 5 weeks, and you know, look at your posture again and how your squat is again, and just make sure everything's still okay. Make sure you haven't had any things developing in terms of imbalances or weaknesses on either side, and it'll be good for your central nervous system as well, because you probably hear the overtraining, and you know, it's better to just avoid it, better to be safe than sorry. So give that a little go as well, and everything should turn out better. So make sure you're stretching. Remember, dynamic and ballistic pre-workout with a bit of foam rolling if you've got one. Workout, static stretches post-workout, and then foam rolling again before bed. And you'll see a big change. And let me know how it goes. Leave us a comment, give us a tweet, send us a message on Facebook, do whatever you like. Just let us know how it goes, and we'll see you next week, guys.